This is KOAA News 5 Special Edition.
Hello everybody, my name is Jon McMichael and thanks for joining me for this special edition of News 5 where we're taking a full half hour to look back at some of the wildly unique stories y'all have shared with us and helped us to tell over the course of 2024. We've got everything from quirky to cool, enormous art productions to fascinating Colorado traditions. With that in mind, let's start by diving headlong into ski joring. Every March for more than 75 years, crowds have flocked to Leadville to watch with rapt attention as folks on horseback pull skiers down the main street, going off ramps, collecting rings, contending for fastest time.
We got horses, we got riders, cowboys, we got skiers. We're throwing them all together and seeing what comes out at the end.
It is time for some Colorado flying high action!
We're here on Harrison Avenue. We're going to be running down here behind 1,000-pound animals, holding onto a rope, going off these jumps, collecting rings.
Which probably water skiing helps these guys as much as snow skiing.
Here we ride!
Is it fun? It is so much fun.
Is it scary?
It is very scary.
Is it loud?
All three.
We tell everybody, most fun you can have at Timberline with your clothes on.
How fast do you go?
You know, the fastest runs, you're probably looking at the horse going around 35 miles an hour and the skier up above 40.
Let's go!
There ain't nothing better. You're free. When that horse is Mach 1 as hard as he can run, you're free.
This is a great course. They've been up here 76 years, probably one of the best. You got the history of this town, and then you got the history of the cowboys, the mining, all that stuff. It rocks.
What a better place to do something like this, right down Main Street of a mountain town.
Make some noise!
What do you see, what do you hear from people who are at this event?
There's a lot of oohs and ahs out there.
You get all the crowd behind you, and that's what makes these horses run.
It just kind of stands alone, I have to say, above many other extreme sports.
The adrenaline rush you get is just, you can't describe it. I don't get it anywhere else.
It's a good place to be if you want to be around people, and it's a good place to be if you want to be around adrenaline.
You know, that's the whole deal. You want to cut loose, get wild, and scream, this is the place to be.
Next up, we've got another tradition, this time in Manitou Springs, where for nearly 3 decades, droves of locals and visitors alike have gathered at the end of January to hurl, toss, and fling fruitcake that's unwanted, uneaten, or even made and saved for this specific occasion. What do you see? What do you hear? What's today all about?
Fruitcakes are flying.
This is the essence of Manitou.
Let the games begin!
If you were to look around, it feels like you wouldn't see a lot of upset people. It's hard to be throwing fruitcake and also be upset.
I think it might be impossible.
Oh, they love it.
They love it.
It's a great time to just make sure those fruitcakes get as much flight as possible.
Is there a proper stance to get your fruitcake to launch as far as possible?
You gotta have your hand out,
Sure.
back like this, and bang.
You know, you just gotta have those arm muscles.
Well, this is because a long time ago,
About 30 years ago or so,
when people finished Christmas and New Year's, they had these fruitcakes that nobody wanted to eat.
and they said, what are we gonna do with these fruitcakes? Someone said,
Let's throw them.
Let's
And
throw them.
That's how it started.
and now it's just grown to this incredible day in Manitou.
Now we're a world famous event.
It's a very serious business, throwing fruitcake.
You better believe it.
It's always so great to just feel like you're a part of a community.
And we're keeping Manitou weird.
And, you know, bonus points for being able to fling a fruitcake that might have been sitting in their house for a couple of months.
After the break, things will get chilly as we take a look at ice, sheets for curling, and cores for study. Howdy and welcome back, folks. For about a decade, Cloud City Curling has been hard at work growing the game of sliding stones and frenzied sweeping in the Leadville community. While it's a game that's typically played indoors, this jovial, coat-bedecked crowd plays under the stars through the winter at over 10,000 feet.
You know, they call it chess on ice. There's so many variables. It's not just about who's the strongest, fastest, or smartest. There's a little bit of luck involved as well.
Everybody can come do this thing.
Yeah.
Sweep it, sweep it.
How long ago did this start?
Right. So
the short answer is 2012. Oh, the longer answer is that
This fella Tom Whitman brought some stones up in the back of his pickup.
32 rocks and some brooms and sliders and hacks, and did a learn to curl for the city of Leadville.
And while it began with less than a dozen folks, pretty immediately curiosity turned into intention.
We talked and said, man, we have to bring this to Leadville.
And by the end of 2014, following a donation of stones trucked down from Canada, Cloud City Curling was off the ground, so to speak.
It's taken a lot of time and it's taken a lot of people to make this happen. And
Yeah.
it keeps
Yeah.
taking a lot of people to make it happen.
Yeah.
In fact, on a non-snowed-in kind of week, it takes about 40 hours between volunteers just to prep the ice
Got a curl.
for what might be Colorado's only outdoor rink that's dedicated solely to curling.
For about 400 years, everyone curled outdoors on frozen lakes, and that's just what the sport was until refrigeration came about. So it's a throwback to the roots of curling.
And a throwback that's built something new.
And our whole philosophy, we thought, and we proved it right, if you build it, they will come.
We've just keep increasing the width of our sheets and adding a new sheet, and the teams just sign up and come.
Now we just have over about probably 150 some curlers up here in a town the size of Leadville.
Why? What's the draw? What is the appeal of curling?
I think at the heart of it is the community.
I mean, I think it's cool because what other town does this on a Tuesday and Wednesday night? And learning something new, like to be able to go home and say to your kids, like, I'm doing this, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm continuing to improve, and it's fun doing it.
Without fail, it seems like it just doesn't matter. Whether they won or lost, they are just walking away with smiles, laughing at themselves. I hear it every night.
And that's the point.
Yep.
Located in Denver, we're taking a look inside the largest ice core storage facility in the world. The freezer contains approximately 25,000 meters of drilled ice collected from Antarctica, Greenland, and portions of North America.
What is it that happens here in this facility? Give me the condensed version of what this place is all about.
So basically, we are the repository for the National Science Foundation's ice cores that have been drilled over the past 40 or 50 years. 60% of what we have is from Antarctica.
With another 30% coming from Greenland and the rest coming from North America.
This is actually one ice core.
So tube number 1, top left, when we go back this way, we're actually going back in time along the depth of the ice core.
Is it meters, kilometers, tonnage? How much ice is stored here?
Yeah, we use meters. It's about 25,000 meters of ice.
And all 25,000 meters are kept in a freezer where the temperature is at negative 38 degrees Celsius or around negative 36 degrees Fahrenheit.
The camera is nearly frozen, and you can see I've got frost on my beard.
On the other hand, the main exam room,
which has all of the working saws and where most of the work happens,
is kept at a balmy, by comparison, negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's kept at a warmer temperature just because it's a lot easier to work in. Kind of the largest thing we do, which is happening right now, is that we are facilitating the processing of a particular ice core for samples to be shipped somewhere else to study.
And often, that somewhere else is one of a couple dozen universities or research facilities across the country performing environmental studies. This crew, for example, is from CU Boulder's Institute of Arctic and Alpine Research.
We analyze the stable isotopes of the water in the ice core to be able to reconstruct past climate records. As the snow falls one year after the other, it just gets layered.
Which creates a record dating back thousands of years
of what the temperature was at that specific site. Understanding how the climate changed in the past gives us clues of how it will change in the future.
And all that starts here.
That's the core of what we're doing here, is we are making sure of the accuracy leading up to the actual research.
After the break, we've got odd, outlandish, and strange as we talk tomato warfare and caskets on wheels. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time for a bit more weird. On again and off again since the 1980s, a good-natured battle of sorts between Coloradans and Texas has played out in our high country, where overripe tomatoes are the weapon of choice and locals work to jokingly defend against the ever-rising tide of Southerners hoping to stake a claim in the centennial state. Take a look at the great Colorado versus Texas tomato war.
Today is chucking some tomatoes at Texans, and they can chuck them at us Coloradans.
What do you think it will be like?
Scary.
Scary.
Exciting.
Exciting.
Tomatoes will be whizzing. It'll go really fast.
It's just fun.
Watch our flanks. We need our defense. Let's win this!
What's really cool about it is the spectators, and somebody gets hit, it's like, whoa, or ah.
Looks like there's been a hard charge by Texans.
Remember the Tamale.
We picked up on Tuesday over 2,000 pounds of tomatoes that were picked a week ago Friday, and we brought them back in a horse trailer, and they've been aging on the battleground ever since. You know, it started in Twin Lakes back in the 1980s, and we revived it for Chaffee County about 4 years ago, and we always raise money for a worthy charity.
We're supporting, our Chaffee County hospitality.
And it's also to benefit Cystic Fibrosis Foundation to find a cure.
Other than that, it's just a fun event to get out with the community and just do something that we can't do anywhere else.
I'm in from Edwardsville, Illinois. I booked a flight and here I am.
Got the Texas flag.
Go Colorado! If you are in the battlefield, is this an event that you can have fun in and still come away clean?
If you come home clean, you didn't have enough fun.
Yeah, you gotta have the seeds and pulp. It's a badge of honor, courage. It's just a lot of fun. Drink a beer, have a Bloody Mary, throw a few tomatoes at each other.
Well, this year marked the 30th anniversary of the Emma Crawford coffin races, a spooky tradition where Coloradans construct coffins, attach those coffins to wheels, and then race those wheeled coffins straight through Manitou Springs. How would you describe this event here today now to me?
Today is the 30th annual Emma Crawford coffin race.
It's the time of the year where everybody gets together dressed as crazy and races coffins down Main Street.
Is it a good time?
That's why we're all here.
There's stormtroopers, there's robots, there's zombies, there's all sorts.
About half of the crowd is in costume.
You have chickens, you have dragons.
Mystery Machine's probably my favorite.
Pirates did try to board. We had to prevent that.
Where's the ride? We get to be who we want to be.
May the corpse be with you.
I think everybody just loves Halloween. B-B-R-D! Everybody loves celebrating and getting dressed up and pushing our coffins.
Do you feel confident in your lore abilities that you could share with me the story of Emma Crawford?
Emma was someone who was buried up on a mountain.
And during the rainstorm, like Colorado's known for,
she was somehow unearthed.
And her coffin rolled down the hill and fell on Manitou Avenue.
So this is in memory of her and her ride down the mountain.
There's multiple ways to win the Emma Crawford coffin races. You can look the best, you can be the fastest, or you can have the most fun. What's kind of the angle of approach here?
We chose C.
Most fun.
Most fun.
Most fun for sure.
Definitely having the most fun. We are nowhere near the fastest.
Our goal is to make it across the finish line all in one piece with our coffins still together.
What is the best thing about all of this?
It's the people who make this festival fun.
After the break, we've got two more stories about two artists. One whose muse is model railroads, the other who uses movement as a medium. Welcome back. With more than a mile of track, there's nothing miniature about Bob Bandy's model railroad. This Colorado Springs local built his current house for this railroad, a project he's been constructing since 2000 and collecting parts and pieces for since 1962. According to him, the job doesn't get finished, it just gets better.
I think everybody has the desire to create their own little world.
This is Bob.
And we've done that.
And this is his world.
It is a world. It is 12, 15 different geological scenes all tied together with a make-believe model railroad.
The collection of all the parts and the pieces started in the 60s, while construction has been ongoing since 2000.
We've got over 6,000 feet of track, at least 20,000 trees.
You can go to Canada, you can go to Colorado, you can go to California. You're basically whisked away to these locations without leaving the house.
It's designed to fit this space. I should say the space was really designed to fit the layout.
I drew the plans for this before I ever started building the house.
A house he's opened over the years to friendships made and maintained via these tracks.
We've got some very, very skilled craftsmen. And they didn't start out as model railroaders.
But now they are.
Whatever your expertise is, he has really pulled that out of you.
Some have been here for years, others more than a decade, helping to build.
This is all about imagination.
Bob's unending.
This will never be done.
Dream.
You can tell people about it. They would never understand until they come downstairs here and see this. And then once they're here, it's like, how do you take it all in? You know, it's impossible.
Born in the Black Forest and having returned as of 2022 after decades of artistic endeavors, Patrick Schern is the creative director and creative force driving Poetic Kinetics, an art studio that creates large-scale kinetic installations that have been featured across the globe. Let's take a look at the magic.
You know, you can make a choice about everything. You can go to Home Depot and they've got this kind of floor covering and that kind of floor covering and this 3 colors and whatever. And I just refuse to surrender to that. I'm the creative director of Poetic Kinetics Studio, and here we are at the studio.
It's basically a mad scientist's workshop, and we follow wherever Patrick Schern's brain takes us.
I really gravitate towards paying attention to how things move and sort of natural forces and natural elements in the world, and then sort of like playing with them and revealing them in unique ways. Like you feel the wind on your skin and you're like, oh, the wind is blowing. But when you see a big thing that's affected by the wind, 20,000 square feet or something, and it's moving with these big giant symphonic kind of motions, you really get connected to what the bigger picture. Like you're a little thing in this giant universe, and then this planet is a tiny thing in this giant universe. I'm able to use scale as a way to sort of ground you in the experience.
Talk to me about that. What's kind of the range of things that you have made?
Well, I was raised as an artist, and my mother's an artist, and so everything growing up was sort of a creative decision. Like, how do you make a pancake and whatever, all the way to
constructing a spectacle.
So scale is kind of irrelevant. I'm just not afraid of scale.
This story starts in 2005 on the playa in Nevada.
I did a big piece at Burning Man that was a 100-foot tall flower on top of an aerial boom lift.
From there, he was contracted to produce work for the 2008 Olympics in Beijing.
And they had this idea of a terracotta warrior and a girl puppet show. And the terracotta warrior was 26 foot tall and supported by a crane that you'd see, building an apartment complex.
That really launched Poetic Kinetics and made Patrick realize that he could make a living and a life out of doing what he does best, just pushing the envelope and just taking it there.
And we've done so many different things.
We're sort of all over the map.
From Coachella to everywhere.
We have heavy equipment artwork, which is built around heavy equipment.
To, this really beautiful, flowing, moving Skynet that we've put all over the world. That used to sound crazy, and now I really just trust the process.
It's a process that's been a journey, not just through the wild geometries of creativity, but also across the very real geography of our world, starting here in the Black Forest and eventually returning here.
It's like a deja vu.
A here that's home.
I was born like 3 miles from here and raised here as a kid, and then moved away to Los Angeles and a bunch of different places, and just recently brought my studio back here and set up shop here in the Black Forest. It took 5 fully loaded semis to come from Los Angeles. It took us a year to put it all away.
Driving onto the property, it's very clear that creativity has spilled out of the workshop.
Yeah.
There's projects old and new being tested or waiting for install, including a new grove of wildly colorful trees that have temporarily taken root.
They're casting light on the ground and they're moving kinetically with the wind, and the colors are magical and crazy.
This one's a prototype. The full-scale version's eventually headed to Denver's 16th Street Mall.
They're like 30 feet tall, these trees.
While others are bound for botanical gardens.
I was so inspired by the mission of botanical gardens. There's conservation and education and preserving species, and it's really, there's a lot going on there. This one is called Autumnal Eruption, and I was inspired by the explosions of lava coming out of a volcano. So we're really kind of diversifying and branching out, doing a bunch of different stuff.
And doing different stuff, that's every day.
I'm not making the same food every day. I'm not hitting the same nail with the same hammer every day. It's all different.
Every day, every project, every moment is another chance for more different. Another chance to live.
It really is a lifestyle.
Creatively.
And it's so much a part of the ethos of our work is about inspiring and ultimately reclaiming a wonder that we all have within us.
We don't want to take life seriously. We want to have fun, you know, and we hope to spread that fun. We hope people walk away and they walk away happy, and they walk away excited, and they walk away playful.
I just want to make this sort of the biggest, funnest spectacle that I can, and if I can get, you know, people sort of engage their child spirit, I think I'm winning.
That's it for this special edition of News 5. Thanks for tuning in. And if you'd like to see more stories like this, showcasing all the distinctive sides to our state, you can follow that QR code on screen, where you'll find years and years of exactly that. From tarantula migrations to medieval combat, mountainside racing, and sculptures made of snow. I'm looking forward to next year and sharing even more unique stories from all over Colorado. For News 5, I'm Jon McMichael. Good night.